ดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ Welcome to NBT World's The Fireside. I'm Benjamin Ruchopagan.
And I'm Warisa Niranat Gomon. Every week we have a fireside chat exploring what's going on in Thailand, diving deep into our latest obsessions.
Now, as you know, it's more important than ever to conserve energy, since the Middle East conflict broke out. Have you been cutting back on your energy use? What have you been doing to conserve energy?
Well, I've been using a lot more BTS, but that's not necessarily because I was thinking about the energy necessarily. My car just kind of broke down. So.
Oh, no. Well, I hope you get that sorted out soon. But, that's good that one less person is using fuel right now. Obviously, we are, I've ditched the jacket for this time as we're trying to encourage everyone to dress for less air conditioning. But this principle is really important to today's episode because it's not just important to conserve energy in the way we live and work, but also in the way that we travel. So lucky for us, the concept of greener travel or low carbon, low impact travel is nothing new. So this week we want to talk about some amazing wins for the green travel movement and as Thai tourism as well.
Yeah, so at the ITB Berlin 2026, which is the world's largest travel trade fair, Thailand actually earned a series of high-profile accolades at the Green Destinations Story Awards. Now, Thai destinations won first and second place in the environment and climate category, and first place in the nature and scenery category. So well done, Thailand. It also secured accolades under the newly established Thailand Good Travel Award certification program. And also, Thailand's delegation in Berlin was led by Natty Wairsa, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Tourism and Sports, alongside Thapani Kiatphaiboon, who is the governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand, or TAT.
That's right. And in a statement that followed the ceremony, Governor Thapani emphasized that these awards aren't just about the bragging rights. She said that these achievements reflect the breadth of Thailand's sustainable tourism progress from nature conservation and climate resilience to heritage-led destination development. They represent more than international recognition. They also underscore Thailand's capability to develop high-quality destinations that place the environment, local communities, and long-term sustainability at the center of tourism development, strengthening the kingdom's position as a leading sustainable tourism destination on the world stage. So I'd like to take a look at each of these green destinations and the stories that inspired them. But first, what even is a Green Destination Story Award?
So in order to get into that, we have to first start with the Green Destinations Top 100 Stories competition, which has been running since 2014. And this competition, organized by the Green Destinations Foundation, based in the Netherlands, is designed to share good practice stories. Now, this means specifically innovation solutions to tourism challenges that other destinations can copy and learn from.
That's right. And they're judged based on 3 different criteria. And the first one is effectiveness. Did the initiative actually solve the problem? And the second one is innovation. Is this a fresh approach or is it a creative use of local wisdom, for example? And the third and final one, which is really important to these stories, is transferability. Can a town in South America or Europe, for example, look at a Thai village and say, oh, we can do that too? So the ability to inspire is not just good feelings, it's about practical application as well. Being named one of the top 100 is a massive achievement, but the Story Awards are really the cream of the crop, the best of the best. So far, there are 600 destinations across more than 100 countries that have registered for this competition.
Right. And the practical reason for entering this competition is that winners will be featured in the Good Travel Guide, which is operated by the independent expert network called Good Travel Institute. And this institute helps tour operators with assessing their sustainability, adopting more sustainable practices, and also certifying their efforts with the Good Travel Seal. And you can find plenty more green destination stories and good travel experiences on Good Travel Guide for Thailand.
There's actually a lot more than the the destinations that we're about to list in this episode. So do check that out and support great green destinations. But without further ado, let's check out the winners of this year's Story Awards from Thailand. So we begin in the south, where Mu Got Lanta National Park in Krabi Province has taken the top honor in the Nature and Scenery category for the Green Destinations Story Awards 2026 with their story, A Hero's Tale from Lanta Island's Regenerative Coast, the Hermit Crab. Now, to win in this category, a destination must prove that it isn't just watching nature, it's actively managing it, from the enforcement of strict laws against wildfire or wildlife trade to constant monitoring of how tourism impacts the local ecosystem. So this is a rigorous global audit that ensures the scenery, the beautiful imagery, is not just confined to the postcard. It's backed by a real, healthy, protected, and ethically managed environment.
Right. And Mukot Lanta, or the Lanta Island, is considered a biodiversity hotspot in Krabi, known for its pristine beaches and also the clear waters there. It is also home to a unique mix of Thai Buddhists, Chinese, Muslims, and Chaolei, or sea nomads, who live in harmony with the environment. Now, in this ecosystem, the hermit crab is a key species, acting as a natural helper that breaks down organic waste and aids in sand formation. I didn't realize that hermit crabs were so important.
I didn't know that either. I just thought they were a kind of unique kind of crab,
right.
And they're not even a lot of meat on those bones, So
How
I was
dare
like,
you.
whatever, I don't care about these crabs. But actually, they are really important for the environment, as it turns out. But there was a problem. Now, the island's hermit crab population had been facing a severe survival threat. Now, this is mainly due to three factors. Together, high tourist activity had led to people collecting the natural seashells as souvenirs or jewelry, which left no homes for the crabs, creating a shell shortage or a housing shortage. Now, desperate for shelter, hermit crabs turn to other things, and mostly that's been marine debris, like sharp glass bottles, cans, plastic caps. These fail to provide the necessary moisture that they would find in a normal shell, in a normal seashell, and they can lead to injuries and then eventually death. The eventual population decline risks an ecosystem imbalance, leading to organic matter buildup on the beach and beach erosion even.
I feel mildly responsible because as a kid, when I was a lot younger, obviously, I didn't know that this was a problem at all. And I see cute shells and I just want to take them home, But it's good that, there's awareness of this now and, the government has stepped in and making sure that this continuation of people not knowing will slowly create some housing crisis for these crabs. So I'm glad that they're coming in to help.
I will say that, I have a beach house in Cha'am, and we have all these pieces of furniture where there's a pit inside where we thought, oh, it's such a great idea to make it more beach themed, to fill it with sand and seashells. And so we put it in the dining table, we put it in, anywhere where there's a glass enclosure,
I see, yeah.
So we thought we were so creative, but, it turns out we could have actually been accidentally harming the hermit crab population.
Exactly. But now we know. And to add to that story, the National Park Solution back in 2020 was to launch a multi-sector regenerative project based on nature-based solutions, or NBS. Now, some key steps here include the seashell donations, which involve a nationwide campaign in partnership with the Thai Responsible Tourism Association, or TRTA, to collect natural shells from the public and local businesses. They also have the Follow the Hermit Crab Tourism Trail, such a cute name, and that was developed to educate eco-conscious travelers and families. And the last one is strict regulations were implemented to ban shell collections, supported by educational exhibitions and a mentor model where large hotels help smaller ones adopt green practices.
So the result was that the project had transformed the island's environmental and economic landscape even. Over 12,000 seashells, or 700 kilograms, were donated, leading to a steady increase in the hermit crab population, cleaner beaches as well, and ultimately ecological recovery. There was also economic growth, with national park revenues growing steadily from 2021 to 24 to over 23 million baht, proving that restoration can drive high-value tourism. Originally a local effort, the scalable model has now been adopted as a national strategy by other major parks including Similan and PP Islands. So I think this story is super adorable. I mean, the hermit crab needing to find a new home, it feels like a Pixar movie.
Right. And the main character can be called Nong Po or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, now turning to the northeast, we have Chiang Khan in Leh province. And that was named the winner of the environment and climate category with their story, When the Mekong Changed, a fishing village's journey towards sustainable tourism. Now this category in particular measures how a destination manages its footprint, from zero waste systems and renewable energy to the protection of the local water supply. This rewards destinations that actively build climate resilience, ensuring that local communities can survive and also thrive despite the environmental pressures of a changing planet.
Now, for those who don't know, Chiang Khan is a historic district in Leh, sitting on the banks of the Mekong River bordering Laos. And for over a century, the community has been defined by the river's rhythm, sustained by small-scale fishing and traditional customs like the Pa Sat Loi Kra ritual. The town is famous for its vintage wooden houses and its walking street, where the heritage of the river and the community's way of life are on full display. So this sounds wonderful. I'd love to visit that.
Right.
I'd love to be part of that ritual as well. Can I say that one more time? Pa Sat Loi Kra. That sounds great.
Yeah, I'd love to go to the walking streets in Chiang Khan as well. That sounds really fun. But unfortunately, though, Chiang Khan did have a problem. The Mekong's natural cycle was disrupted by upstream dam construction and climate change, leading to a phenomenon known as hungry water. Now, the water became unnaturally clear and stripped of sediment, causing it to eat the riverbanks and collapse wetlands, creating an ecological imbalance. And instead of seasonal rhythms, the river had an erratic flow, flooding in the dry season and drying up in the monsoon. Also, this led to the destruction of fish spawning grounds and rare species like giant catfish. And in just 10 years, local fishermen saw their incomes drop by more than half. And that caused economic collapse and forced many to abandon their ancestral trade.
I mean, I gotta say though, hungry water is such a funny term for that, but it's very intuitive. Like, it's too clear so that, through the process of osmosis, it's just sort of leaching the sediment from the nearby riverbanks, right? So in order to solve this problem, the community reinvented itself through the Thai Ban, or local wisdom research model, to adapt to their changing environment. Now, through community-led research, 23 local fishermen mapped out 115 fish species and identified their spawning grounds to create a protected conservation zone. To protect their traditional fishing knowledge, villagers built the Thai Ban Fisherman Learning Center using driftwood. That's a great building material. So, with support from the government's designated areas for sustainable tourism management, or rather tourism administration, that's DASTA, they launched boat tours, riverbank nature walks, and freshwater ecology workshops. These activities had allowed the fishermen to make the ecotourism pivot from just fishermen, who are reliant on only one kind of income, to also conservation guides and storytellers. So the community also began reforestation along the river, or riparian reforestation, planting ton krai, a type of ficus tree, along the riverbanks. These trees are uniquely resilient because they can survive months underwater during the floods while holding the soil together against this hungry water.
Interesting type of tree there. And as a result, The initiative has successfully balanced economic survival with environmental stewardship. Sustainable tourism now provides income stability for over 60 households, particularly during the fishing off-seasons, which empower local families to stay close to home instead of migrating to urban centers. Now, ecotourism both reduces the pressure of overfishing and creates an economic incentive for wildlife conservation by protecting fish spawning zones. And youth engagement programs and school curricula now include local ecological knowledge, ensuring the voice of the river is passed down to the next generation.
Now, I love this program. I keep on accidentally saying wildfire conservation,
Which
but
is
it's the opposite of what we want. It's wildlife conservation. But now let's move on to our next destination that we love here. It's also in the environment and climate category, and it got second place. It's Uthai Thani Old Town. Now, they got second place for their story, The Giant Gourami as GI Tourism, a living symbol of climate resilience, connecting water stewardship with the cultural legacy of Old Town. It's a very comprehensive title. So, tell us a little bit more about the setting of Uthai Thani Old Town.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Uthai Thani Old Town is a 420-year-old cultural heritage site located along the Sakekrang River. It is home to one of Thailand's last remaining floating communities with over 120 traditional bamboo raft houses. I love those. And the heart of this community is the giant gourami fish, or pla rat, a local species with geographical indication or GI status. Now, giant gourami is farmed in floating cages and has become a living symbol of the city's identity and ecological abundance.
Yes, and here's the problem. The shifting environmental conditions that have been linked to climate change were posing an existential threat to this community. There was severe droughts, the worst in decades, causing water levels to drop so sharply that irrigation had stopped, and the raft houses themselves were getting damaged. There was also stagnant water and rising temperatures that deteriorated the water quality and caused a water quality crisis, and mass fish deaths as a result, which devastated the livelihoods of raft-dwelling farmers. Without the stable water or healthy fish, the 400-year-old traditional culture of this raft community was at risk of disappearing due to economic vulnerability. So what was the solution for this?
Right. So in response to that, the Uthai Thani municipality launched an integrated strategy to link cultural heritage with modern climate science. And as part of an active water management plan, the city built a pump station to divert water from the Chao Phraya River during droughts. They also installed water aerators, grease traps, and EM balls to rehabilitate the water quality. They also branded the giant gourami as a messenger of the city, placing the fish at the center of its GI tourism model. This involves promoting the community's way of life through raft homestays and cooking classes. The community also developed value-added products like gourami-themed fashion, fish-scale collagen, and a signature local mascot, Ing Pae. And waste control measures were also very important to keeping the water clean. All raft houses and riverside businesses adopted strict waste sorting and grease trap systems to prevent river pollution.
So as a result of this really multifaceted solution, the municipality was able to turn this environmental crisis into an economic and social success story. After receiving the Top 100 Green Destinations Award in 2024, this wasn't the first time. Tourism revenue had grown by 103.9%. That's basically more than double, reaching over 1.6 billion baht. While the community group Roi Doi Pla Rat, which loosely translates to get rich off gourami, generated millions in annual sales. By February 2025, the river was nothing short of an environmental success because it achieved a good water quality index of 73.75 and a stable ecosystem from the giant gourami, which is a night and day difference from where it started.
Right. Now, those were some amazing stories, but Thailand's not done winning yet, right? So the Green Destinations Awards and certifications recognize rigorous management standards. There are 2 destinations that were recognized in the Thailand Good Travel Award category. One of them is Doi Phu Kha National Park in the northern province of Nan, which earned the Silver Award. The park was recognized for its trekking school, which actively trains hikers to become forest guardians, ensuring that tourism directly supports the park's biodiversity.
Now, in the south, the Guapa Old Town in the province of Phang Nga also earned the Bronze Award. This recognition marks its successful transition from a tin mining hub into a sustainably managed cultural heritage site. These certifications really show that Thailand is serious about creating a more sustainable tourism industry that integrates cultural conservation and environmental stewardship into its business models.
So out of all the destinations that we listed, which one's your favorite?
I mean, okay, I'll go one by one. So the first one where we're talking about the hermit crabs of Lanta. That's such a cute story. Mm-hmm. I love that story. I think it's so easy. Like, it makes it a great sort of eco mascot, the hermit crab. And it's, I think it's such a simple and elegant solution, just stop taking the seashells. I will say that I think that the story that was the most inspiring to me, though, however, was the second one with Chiang Khan, which was the fishing village. So the fact that they had this culture tied to the Mekong River and that they were disrupted by something so massive that's totally out of their control, which was the upstream dam, I felt like that was a more challenging problem to solve. And so I think that one is probably my favorite story. I thought I was the most inspired by it. So, and also the phenomenon of hungry water, like, how would you solve that? I really like that they integrated planting trees, protecting fish spawning areas, and then creating education as well and diversifying their income. It feels like a real 360 kind of solution. Mm-hmm. So story-wise, I love that one. Foodie-wise, because, if I have to think with my stomach, I think the giant gourami is the most delicious story. I think I like the idea that they really leaned into it, into creating a mascot. This has GI status. Okay, we're gonna center our entire sort of local business model around the giant gourami. So that, and the fact that they had a community group called Get Rich Off Gourami. I thought that was pretty straightforward. I think it's really important to marry an economic incentive with a conservation one, because otherwise conservation by itself is just thriving off of charity. And you're constantly going to find them in competition with each other. If people have to choose between, putting food on the table and protecting their environment, they're going to choose putting food on the table, right? But when protecting your environment becomes putting food on the table, that's when you have a success story. That's what I really like. So I also really want to stay at a floating house, at a raft house. I would love to do a homestay there. So that one I would actually visit. Mm-hmm. What about you?
Well, my answer is a little bit more simpler than yours. I think I just love the story where I could envision myself actually participating in. Mm-hmm. And I guess I like the one, the Nan, the Doi Phu Kha one, where there's old towns, there's trekking, there's a trekking school, and they, train hikers to become forest guardians. I am more of a botanical person more than a sea person, I would say. So mountains and trees and any greenery sounds majestic to me. It sounds great.
That's so interesting because I feel like everybody can be divided into either a beach person or a mountain person, especially in Thailand. Either you want to go up country where the mountains are, or you want to go in the Gulf or the Andaman Sea. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm a beach person, to be honest.
Right.
But, sort of the best of both worlds to me is being on the river.
There we go. Yeah.
Because I'm not a huge fan of salt water, actually, when I think about it. I don't like a lot of sand.
Right.
But I do love I just love being on the water. You know.
Well, water does soothe the soul, though.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
there we go.
absolutely.
And now we turn it to our audience. Which of these destinations would you like to visit?
Let us know on NBT World's online channels. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
For years, the lady slipper orchid, known for its unique pouch-shaped bloom, was heavily targeted by illegal collectors. Many of these orchids were smuggled abroad, leaving the species at risk of disappearing entirely from Thailand's forests. Concerned by this rapid loss, Her Majesty Queen Sirikit initiated an effort to conserve and restore native orchid species, particularly the lady's slipper orchid, which holds both ecological and cultural significance. Her late Majesty's dedication to environmental preservation has long been evident in her royal initiatives to protect forests, watersheds, and wildlife. On January 22nd of 1992, while attending the 4th Asia-Pacific Orchid Conference and Exhibition at Ma Zhou University in Chiang Mai, Her Majesty expressed concern that many beautiful Thai orchids were disappearing from the wild. She emphasized the importance of conserving native orchid species to maintain Thailand's natural balance and biodiversity. A year later, in 1993, Her late Majesty discussed the issue with then Lieutenant General Yingyot Chodpimai, commander of the 3rd Army Region. This conversation led to the creation of the Doi Intanon Ladies Slipper Orchid Conservation Project, the first royal initiative dedicated specifically to this rare orchid. The project was established in Ma Hong Son Province to survey, cultivate, and reintroduce the species into its native environment. The project expanded in 2004 when the Department of National Parks, Wildlife, and Plant Conservation established another center in Doi Intanon National Park in Chiang Mai. Together, the two centers have become vital hubs for orchid propagation, botanical research, and reforestation efforts under the royal guidance of His Majesty the King, who continues to carry forward Her late Majesty Queen Sirikit's environmental vision. Today, the Doi Intanon Orchid Conservation Projects safeguard 62 species of orchids, totaling more than 3,600 plants. 10 of those species, about 600 plants, have already been successfully reintroduced into their natural habitats. Beyond scientific work, the project plays an important role in raising environmental awareness among local communities. Residents are encouraged to participate in orchid conservation, helping to prevent illegal collection and fostering a sense of pride in preserving Thailand's natural treasures. The initiative has become a model for ecotourism, offering visitors the chance to experience rare orchids in their natural surroundings while supporting local livelihoods. Through this balance of conservation and community engagement, the project continues to flourish as a living tribute to the Queen Mother's enduring love for nature. The Lady Slipper Orchid now blooms once again across Thailand's northern forests, a vibrant symbol of Her late Majesty Queen Sirikit's boundless compassion and lifelong commitment to protecting the nation's precious natural heritage for generations to come.